Hello and welcome to Spryngy Says, a podcast powered by Spryngbase. I'm Shreya, the founder and marketing person at Spryngbase, a community for AI forward legal professionals, and I have with me Jill Ottenbergs.
Hello, I'm the solution architect of Spryngbase.
Perfect. So today's topic, Jill, actually is a bit interesting. It's about AI hallucinations. But before that, let's take a look at one of the takes from Springy 7, our bi weekly newsletter. So, take two in Springy 7 from this edition was the deadline for high risk AI systems has shifted from August of this year to December of next year. That's, of course, a huge relief for all EU lawyers who were rushing to meet this deadline. But yeah, what's your view on this? Should legal professionals now relax and just take it easy? Should
Yeah,
they still continue?
it's a typical example of bureaucracy. So they implemented the rules in February, I think, this year, that all companies and firms that use AI should be at least AI literate. And in some critical industries, it was even more important, and a lot of more rules if they applied AI. Also, for AI developers, there were some strict rules, which we will not get into. But there was actually no organization that would be able to control these rules in all these firms and write out fines. So they extended it to December. But that does not mean that you can lay back and say, oh, I don't need to follow the rules anymore because they're still valid.
All right. So, simple message to all the law firms and legal professionals who thought they could take it easy until December next year would be
Yeah, no. Make sure that everybody in your every employee and every partner and every associate that uses AI, make sure that they understand what the opportunities are and the risks of using AI. It will be very fruitful if you do it now instead of waiting until December.
okay, perfect then. So let's dive right into the topic for today, which I'm actually quite excited about because there's a lot of conversation about this in the legal world, of course. And it's, of course, hallucinations. So we all know that AI hallucinates, but if these hallucinations are able to decide the outcome of a case, I think that's quite scary. Of course, an article by the Publication Council put out that in February there were at least 31 reports of AI hallucinations in the UK alone, and globally there were 800. So that's 800 legal cases, 800 people who or companies who could be disadvantaged because of these hallucinations. So it's definitely quite pertinent and a bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is, and it's so far as they know. So 800 and such cases, but I think a lot went under the radar as well.
definitely, I can imagine. So actually, the person who wrote the article for Council, Matthew Lee, has his own tracker, but purely for the UK. And as of May, the cases of hallucination were 64, so more than double of what the number was in February. So it's definitely interesting, a bit frightening to be honest. And before we go into the risks and how you can combat this, we first need to understand what a hallucination is. So, Jill, could you tell our listeners what a hallucination is?
Yeah, sure. An hallucination of an AI tool happens when the tool gives you information that sounds very true, but is actually completely wrong, incomplete, or very misleading. So it can invent facts, it can invent references, legal cases, policies, and complete conclusions. So AI will always prioritize giving you a confident answer instead of giving you a fully correct one. And you've probably seen the example with the guy on social media. He's very famous now. We asked the AI tool, "Oh, how many E's are in freeze?" And the tool is like, "Oh, there are four E's in freeze." They say, "No, there are actually three." "Oh, you're correct. There are three E's in freeze." So it will also prioritize making sure that you are right instead of that the AI tool is right. So yeah, very dangerous aspect of AI tools.
Well, it's a dream for a deluded person, you know. You just keep getting told that you're right. I think it's of course quite ideal. But when we talk about legal professionals and what they are dealing with, it's quite a serious challenge, and it matters a lot in professional work, you know. And we're already seeing that lawyers are getting a lot of pushback actually from courts on this. So could you maybe tell us a bit more about the impact of having a hallucination in
Yeah,
your
sure.
professional
So
work?
in your daily life, in your casual use of AI, a wrong answer is just annoying. But if you're working in a professional work, the wrong AI answer can cause a lot of damage, definitely to your client, to your reputation as a lawyer and your office that you work in. And it's just clear that the higher the stakes are, the more dangerous hallucinations become. And it's what we talked about with the EU AI Act. That is why legal has been identified as a critical industry for AI usage. Because imagine if a lawyer, you're a client, and you go to a lawyer, and he is pressured to use AI because of deadlines, and he uses the public ChatGPT interface or Claude. It's completely invented, and as a client, you go to your case, and the judge and or the counterparty they notice that your lawyer used AI and it hallucinated, and you lose the case because
Mhm.
of it. I don't think you would be happy as a client.
Definitely not. But I mean, we've spoken a bit about what hallucinations are and what the impact is. Can we go a bit more into why does this even happen?
Okay, the AI predicts likely answers based on patterns. So it is fed a lot of information, mainly all the information from the internet, because it's been written about a couple of months ago now that all the internet is uploaded into the AI models that we use. And the AI models base itself on language and not specifically on, let's say, a correct output. So if also what is a big aspect, if you're prompting the question you ask the AI is too vague and the context is missing, there are no clear guardrails, your data is weak, then the risks increases. Imagine if you just put a one sentence prompt, then your output will also be of low quality. So my advice would also be to learn how to prompt, make sure that you have a clear structured prompt, because then you will minimize hallucination, but you also always should, um, let's say, go out from the aspect that the hallucination can happen, even if your
Right.
prompt is very good.
Yeah, I mean, so AI always hallucinates. Let's just go with that assumption. That's our
More or
message
less,
to
yeah.
the listeners. And if we need to think about, okay, we do need to use AI, right? Legal professionals, everyone is sort of expected to use that in their profession. But if there is a risk of hallucinations, let's say the barrier increases a bit to use AI. So, what is the best way in which organizations can combat this risk?
So on a personal level, you we talk about it. We talk about the aspect human in the loop. So it's a very common term for solution architects and software developers for a couple of years now, and very new for, let's say, the public who just got working with AI. But a human in the loop is actually that you make sure that the end or at the end of the AI process, that you control or review the output of the AI. So
Mhm.
instead of just taking it, downloading it, and sending it to your client, or using it for administrative purposes, make sure to go through the output, that all the references are correct, that the conclusion is correct, and rely on your expertise to review the output. Um, and then what the firms themselves can do is, first of all, identify which data can be used into these AI tools. Is there a confidentiality risk? Can we upload contracts? Which output is allowed to use in your professional work? I know, for example, that a couple of firms make sure that juniors first work 2 years without AI to make sure that they build up expertise and know how to review it, instead of just relying on the output, which can be hallucinated. And also, what you should do as a firm is identify software or AI tools that can be used, or at least provide these tools. Because these dedicated AI legal tools, they have clear guardrails, they have a framework where they work in, and hallucination is minimized. But still, hallucination can happen. We've reviewed some AI legal tools, and there we see from the lawyers that we talk to that hallucination is still not eliminated completely. So, but it's a big, let's say, improvement from the public LLMs that still a lot of people use for their professional work.
Okay. I think so. The clear message is hallucinations will happen. Make sure you're checking your information. Try to use legal tools that have accountability towards you and have better guardrails with regards to the AI output that is provided. But even in those cases, you can still expect some hallucinations. Um, I think that's a perfect way to sort of close off this session. Would there be anything else that our listeners should be aware of when it comes to taking care of hallucinations in their day to day work?
Yeah, it's all about your identifying your workflows, your data, and which tools to use or not. And at Springbase, we believe that AI adoption starts from these three things. So yeah, that's it all, that's all from my side.
All right. So make sure to check your information to help reduce the possibility of hallucinations. The message is not to do away with AI, but be more cautious when working with it. And that's it for this edition of Spryngy Says. Please tune in for our next session. And if you'd like more such information and you want to stay updated on all the happenings in the legal AI world, then please subscribe to our newsletter, Spryngy 7. It's completely free. And thank you all for listening.